Good evening, everybody. I'm Ryan, alongside our chief meteorologist, Joel, below me. We are Michigan Storm Chasers here, in for a weather briefing, in particular for Thursday into Friday, but also we're taking a peek ahead toward Christmas and beyond to talk what the pattern could be like in toward the later half of the month. So welcome on in, everybody. Do an audio check here. Let us know where you're watching from. We got Cindy from Alpena, Christy from Big Rapids. Joel, go ahead and say something to test your audio out.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Am I unmuted on your side, Ryan?
Yes, I am.
Perfect.
Let us know how
Oh,
we
I don't even see
sound.
the chat.
You don't see the chat?
I don't see the chat on your side.
I can fix that. You can now see the chat.
There we
Perfect.
go.
We got Owendale, Antrim, Wyandotte, Brooklyn, Byron Center, San Diego. Interesting. We got a San Diego viewer in here. What's up, guys? Kent City, Grand Haven, Howell, Spring Arbor, Charlotte, Macomb, Midland. Welcome in, guys. Let's go ahead and get started here. I have 21 tabs open tonight. So we are going to take our sweet old time and get through the forecast video today. So let's go ahead and start with season to date snowfall. It has been a snowy start to the season. We're technically still in fall, believe it or not. Winter does not begin for 5 more days. Already a lot of Michigan, pretty much the entirety of Michigan, except Monroe, Wayne, parts of St. Clair County, already over 12 inches of snow. Western lower, northern lower, and a lot of the UP upwards of 25 plus inches, with some areas getting 50 to 70 inches of snow already. But looking ahead to the future, we're going to see that pattern flip that began today continue on for several days and perhaps several weeks. So running this model here of forecast snowfall through the long-term period here, we are seeing several areas to our north get snow, but if you notice here, the northern US is skimped out on quite a bit of snowfall accumulation between now and the end of the month. So snow may be a little bit harder to come by over the next week or two. Our attention, short term, is focused in on Thursday into Friday system, not for snow, but for wind, as well as potential for a flash freeze event. So let's talk about it. Countrywide look here of our systems we're watching for the development of the system right around the Wednesday evening, Thursday morning time frame. We see a very deep low pressure symbol over here toward North Dakota, Canadian border there, into Minnesota, into Wisconsin, and by the time we get into early Thursday, right around noon or so, this has bring up a lot of moisture from the Gulf, and we have a lot of warm air with it as well. We see a large area of rain, and perhaps to our south, some strong to severe storms for the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. But up here in Michigan, we're not concerned about that. But we will get rain. To the north of this system, a lot of snow for our Canadian friends, and perhaps portions of the UP with this event, but the heavier snow will miss us to the north. This system will continue into Thursday night, into Friday morning. A lot of cold air will fill on the backside of the system. So the system will start as rain on Thursday, and by late Thursday into Friday, a burst of snow will be possible. And lake effect will kick up just ever so slightly with this system, but prolonged significant accumulation is not expected at this time. But we could see a few inches into that day on Friday for lake effect belts. This system will move off. We get a bit of a break there Friday evening, and then a second system moves in for northern Michigan throughout the Saturday morning time frame. That could lead to a few inches of accumulation for the UP, but still not concerned about that for a significant event. Well, let's go ahead and back up here and talk about rainfall and freezing temperatures as well as wind. Let's start with the wind here. Gusty winds are expected throughout the entirety of Thursday into Friday. Here is Thursday morning. These are gusts in miles per hour. We're seeing several areas between 25 and 30, with a few areas just above 30 miles per hour for our wind gusts Thursday morning. These will continue to increase. We could get up to 35, perhaps 40 miles per hour in some spots throughout Thursday afternoon, and then a little bit of a lull Thursday evening, but then a second, perhaps more stronger blast, so to speak, of wind will come in for early Friday, where we could have gusts between 30 to 45 miles per hour, perhaps a little bit higher in some localized areas. but this will continue all throughout Friday. Peak wind gusts there looking to be early Friday afternoon, primarily for the Lower Peninsula, but also parts of the UP getting in on this as well. So overall, plan for 48 hours of gusty winds between 25 and 45 miles per hour with peak gusts expected late morning Friday into early afternoon Friday. Now let's talk rain and temperatures. This is the big story, and this is our big concern while we're kind of going live here to get you guys up to speed. We have rain expected. Let's talk about 3 models here. So the RRFS model, this is a typical model we use during summertime severe weather, but we're going to use it today to show you guys the absolute worst case scenario. This is an event. This is what we're not expecting to happen. We see a line of gusty showers develop all the way down to Indiana up into Michigan. That could spark some very gusty showers, not likely to happen. So we're going to kind of toss that out. A second solution that is unlikely is the HRRR model. This is known to be a dry bias model, and this model is showing a lot of dry air with the system and not a lot of rain. So this is, again, best case scenario, but unlikely to happen. The forecast we're going to go and stick with here is the NAM model here, where rain kind of looks like this across the state. A good light to perhaps moderate rain at times for a good chunk of the state here throughout Thursday, leading us to around a quarter to a half inch of rain for a lot of areas in the state of Michigan. Total rainfall here, we're seeing anywhere from a half inch down by the Adrian, Ann Arbor, St. Clair, Macomb County areas. Further west, further north, anywhere from a quarter inch to about a half inch or so. In the UP, some of this is going to fall as snow, but overall about a tenth to 2/10 of an inch of rain is expected with this system. Why is that important? Well, let's talk about temperatures quickly here. So throughout today, we're above freezing for the first time in several days. Feels good. But through Thursday, we're going to warm up into the 40s. Would not be shocked to see parts of the very far southern part of the state, close to the Indiana-Ohio border, make a run toward 50 degrees. But for 90% of us, we're going to be solidly in the upper 30s for the UP and low 40s, low to mid 40s for the Lower Peninsula. This will continue throughout Thursday. And then here comes the Arctic air invasion once again. This is our big concern. Temperatures are going to fall throughout Thursday evening. We go from 40s into the low to mid 30s here. Now, keep in mind here at 10 o'clock Thursday evening, pretty much the entire state is shown to be right around 33, 34 degrees. So not yet below freezing, which is 32 degrees. But all of a sudden we go toward the midnight time frame and we get blasted here into the perhaps upper teens into the low 20s for the state. So we're going to see about a 25 to 30 degree swing in a matter of about 4 to 5 hours of time. So with the prior rainfall, we're going to be seeing wet roadways. If any roadways are lingering with wetness or any surfaces, sidewalks, decks, rails, they're going to ice over very quickly late Thursday, early Friday. So kind of referencing back to our models here, if we get a very dry solution like the HRRR Verify, this is kind of the best case scenario because less rain, less wet roads, less ice. That could happen. It's a scenario, but right now it's unlikely. And then the worst case scenario, we get a little bit of a strong wind gust or two. But overall, what we're kind of going with here is a widespread rain here for the entire state. And this is going to affect the entire state as these temperatures really start to fall off here. There's not one area here that goes from above freezing to below freezing. We're all seeing it essentially. So everybody gets rain. Everybody gets the falling temperatures. Ice is a huge concern. Timing on this once again here. Currently, based on latest guidance, we are seeing the first initial drop here Thursday evening. We're going to see 40s go to the 30s throughout about 4 to about 8 o'clock here. And then the real Arctic air comes in a little bit later on. So for the UP, we start seeing that right around 7 p.m. there for Ontonagon, a county over there. But then as this continues to the east, the Lower Peninsula gets impacted here as early as 10 to 11 p.m. On the east side, you guys are moving in about 3 a.m. or so for you guys over there in Detroit into the Thumb region. So biggest impacts here late Thursday into the day on Friday. Would not be shocked to see snow days or cancellations or delays out there from our local schools. Plan for slick travel, Friday morning commute. It's going to be pretty icy out there and this is a growing trend in confidence, but if that rain does fall across a large area, it's going to freeze. Simple as that. All right, that is the big event we're watching. Now, let's go ahead and talk long term because a big question you guys are asking, what is Christmas going to be like? What are we talking about for the holiday season? Well, 15 days here on the graph based out of Lansing, looking quite warm. 30s and 40s throughout the next 10 to 15 day period here. In particular, Christmas, grain of salt here, right now shown to be 45 degrees in the Lansing area. This has been bouncing around between 50s to 30s to 40s, but the trend here towards a warmer period is still holding true. So I do believe we're going to be probably in the 30s or 40s for Christmas. That is a rough guess. Between 4 different models, this is what Christmas Day in terms of temperatures is looking like. To our friends to the south here off the European model, anywhere really south of Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, we're seeing 50s, 60s, and even 70s down by the Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas area. Quite warm in nature. The GFS model, a little bit further south with the warmer temperatures. So from Indianapolis over toward Champaign, over toward Des Moines, Iowa, and point southward, we're in the 50s and 60s. And then also the European ensemble, so several different European members ran over and over. Follow the same trend as the GFS here for Christmas Day. But in Michigan, we're solidly in the 30s and 40s for a lot of these models. And lastly, the Canadian model, the coldest solution currently in the 20s and 30s here for the state with a lot warmer tucked away to the south. So it's still 9 days away. It's going to bounce around. It's going to change a little bit. But the overall pattern is towards a warmer solution here. So do expect probably 30s and 40s is a safe bet for Christmas Day. So what happens after Christmas Day, though? We go back to that chart I showed you guys of 15-day temperatures. It's going to be warm. We don't see a drop off until late month here, if one at all. But there are signs. Looking at our teleconnections, Arctic Oscillation, North Atlantic Oscillation, we have a lot of different teleconnections that we can connect together and really get an idea of what's going to happen here. So a lot of the members off of the Arctic Oscillation are going negative toward late month. What that means, think of the Arctic Oscillation as your Arctic air door. If Canada, the Canadian border to the north was the door, that would be basically north of that. Yeah, I'm trying to word this here. This 0 right here, this line, that is your basically neutral phase. Anything above that, the air is getting tucked up into Canada. Anything below this 0, anything from Canada is allowed easily to come penetrate further south into the US. So when we see this go below this line, that tells us air from the north or Arctic air will have an easier time coming further south. So with that being said, we're seeing a lot of these models really keying in on that change toward the late month time frame here. So that tells us sometime around the new year, between Christmas and the new year, or perhaps a bit after that, we're going to see a shift back to a colder pattern, perhaps with more Arctic blasts, more snow chances, more clipper systems. It's just the overall winter trend we're seeing toward late month into early January. Of course, it's a pattern. It's not an exact forecast. We're just kind of seeing that trend on models. Going over the next 6 to 18 days off of the CPC here, you've probably seen these maps all over social media. Above average temperatures for a good chunk of the state here, Michigan included, between the 22nd and 26th of the month. For precipitation, we are near normal. We kind of slow down here from our active pattern we've been in with multiple snow chances. We're going to pump the brakes there. We're talking still near normal to about a 33 to 40% chance of above normal for the UP. Out to the 8 to 14 day, much of the same continues through the late month time period, above average temperatures and near normal to above average precipitation for the state of Michigan. So overall, it's going to slow down just a bit, but it's going to warm up at the same time. So snow chances will be hard to come by. We talked about it at the start. Don't see too many chances here between now and Christmas for any big snow systems. With that being said, Joel, anything that you want to cover that I did not cover?
I think just in terms of this system coming up, again, it's possible, but we do have a chance of. I know this was a question that was coming up a lot. Even today, I was being asked thunderstorms for Thursday into Friday, and as Ryan was mentioning, those gusty showers could produce some special weather statements out there. But for the most part, these will be just generic rain showers, with a little bit of wind mixed in. So don't have to worry about anything severe. Most of the severe for the system will be south of the state line. But it is possible by Thursday you will see I will say a, in quotes, severe weather outlook. It's not technically severe weather, but it is a thunderstorm outlook for this event. As you can see there on the screen, that is the Storm Prediction Center's severe, or yeah, it is their severe thunderstorm outlook, but it is lime green for portions of southeast Michigan for generic thunderstorms. So nothing to worry about there in terms of severe weather.
If you are driving south, though, at any point throughout the Thursday time frame, if you get down to the Kentucky, Tennessee area, that is where the severe risk currently is at, just because there's an excess of instability there for this time of year. And there's also a lot of wind shear, Joel. I don't know if you look at the wind shear parameters with this system, but they're kind of off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking 80 knot jet at 500 millibars, which is quite crazy. That's about, trying to translate that into speeds. So about 20,000 feet off the surface, we're talking about speeds that are roughly 80 plus miles per hour. That's pretty significant for this time of year. So it's not surprising there's going to be severe weather or gusty winds with the system just off to the south because, again, warm air is more potent further south. This is for Thursday, Dawn. The day on Thursday. Any questions? Feel free to pop them in chat. We'll be live for, I'd say, probably at least 20 minutes talking about the system, answering questions. So now is your time to throw your questions in the chat.
Right, we did have a couple new members / donations during your spiel about the weather,
Okay.
including Zia Star, becoming an EF2 member. Thank you very much, Zia. Summer, back for month number 18. That's a year and a half here at MSC, saying, can we push all the mud to Chandler's yard? I'm sure he would enjoy that. But we'll see. Unfortunately, it looks like there's going to be a lot of mud out there for the system, especially Thursday. Got Red Dozier in here with a $20 super chat just saying hello everyone tonight. Welcome in, Red. Appreciate your support as always. And Sue back for month number 12 saying, I've hit a year. Woohoo. Happy to have found MSC. Thanks for all you do as always. Much appreciated with the smiley face thumbs up emoji. No problem, Sue. And welcome to the team for year 1 officially. And again, if you guys would like to become an honorary team member, feel free to hit that join button at the bottom of your screen for if you're on YouTube. Be pulling out all the stops for the system this upcoming week. Thunderstorm outlook, rainfall outlook, snowfall outlook. It's going to be a busy one.
I had an idea when you said muddy. We should do a muddy meter. I have a muggy meter and a muddy meter.
For some reason, I thought you said money. I'm like, what?
Muddy.
Muddy meter. Got it.
Kind of cool. What do you think about the warm-up? I know it's days out, but do you think it would happen in your opinion? Define warm-up, because some people's warm-up could be 60 or 70 degrees. Others, in my definition of warm-up here, based on the last week or so, is 30 to 40 degrees. So it all depends on what you define as a warm-up. 30s and 40s look likely the next 10 to 15 days. So if that is a warm-up to you, then yes. But if you're expecting days to be in the 50s, 60s plus, the odds of that, we may hit 50 one day, maybe 2 days, but long-term, no. Red Dozer with 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, Red, for that. Will road salt be of any help? Scott asked. So yes, road salt will be efficient to treat the roads. Temperatures are going to be right around 15 to 25-ish degrees after the temperatures drop. So anything below 15 is when road salt becomes a little less effective. But we're going to be probably right or just above that for a good chunk of the state. 15 is about the lowest we see based on the models right now. Yeah, Dan has a good point here in chat. This will be t-shirt weather. Compared to what we had the last weekend here, yes. Wind chills below 0, 20 to 30 below 0 to 40, maybe perhaps 50 degrees in some spots. That's an 80 degree swing from our wind chill to our air temperature from the weekend to Thursday. It's kind of crazy. No, so differentiate here. This is not a freezing rain event. They are different. This is rain that's going to fall as rain It's going to stay as rain, but then cold air comes on top of that, what's already fallen, and it's going to change the wet roadways into ice. So we're not expecting ice accumulation on power lines or trees. This is not what it is. It's just basically rain that's going to fall, temperatures are going to drop, and all of a sudden we're looking at icy roads, sidewalks, and other surfaces. But no, nothing's going to accumulate in terms of the freezing rain. We got Kevin. Good evening, Kevin. Thank you for your support with 10 gifted memberships.
Thank you.
We got Ben in chat. Jumping in the lake won't hurt as bad later this week. So, for those of you who don't know, Ben actually went to all 5 of the Great Lakes in, I think, 13 hours. Ben, correct me if I'm wrong here in chat, but 13 hours he jumped in all 5 of the Great Lakes while the wind chill was below zero across Ontario and Michigan. So that was insane. And you can follow more at his account there at Storm Chaser Ben Richmond. But he had a blast doing that. So,
Yeah, there's a question that keeps coming up multiple times, even in this chat. I was doing some presentations today. Also, shout out to Courtney. I saw you were in here. I spoke to her 8th grade class today, and also shout out to Holton High School. I was also out there. The question that kept coming up is, are we getting a snow day on Friday? Again, technically it wouldn't be a snow day. It would be more of like an ice day. And at the current time, again, it depends on if your county can get out and treat the roads early enough in the morning. I would expect probably widespread delays at the very minimum, so probably 2-hour delays. It is a tricky forecast, and it's a tricky time to take a day off, being that it is everyone's last day before Christmas break. And a lot of schools are taking exams this week. So a lot of factors coming in that may push off a snow day, technically an ice day, or keep them on. So just pay attention throughout the period on Thursday night, and we'll have to go from there. But I would say widespread delays at the minimum. But we are not your superintendent, so keep that in mind.
one thing I didn't talk about here with the dropping temperatures, if there's any lingering precip on the back of this storm, it may fall as a quick dusting of snow. It's not going to accumulate a lot, but it might be enough to slick up roadways on top of the potentially icy roadways too. So keep that in mind. We will likely not be live for this event, but if we have chasers out at all, perhaps.
Yeah, with this event, there's, as you can see on the radar there's a lot of dry air being sucked into the system on the back side of the rain. And so that'll nullify the snow totals pretty heavily. I would still say at least a good dusting, as you mentioned, to maybe 1 to 3 inches of snow in the lake effect variety. And the majority of that is going to fall across the UP anyways. So keep that in mind as we go into Friday. Snow is not going to be too much of a concern. But again, we are monitoring because things can change on a dime here in Michigan.
Yeah, lake effect being shown the European is anywhere from about 1 to 3 across lake effect belts, and then up in the UP, as Joel just mentioned. So that's the European model from the afternoon.
And that's through Sunday, it says?
Yeah, through Sunday. A lot of this falls. Looks like there's like 2 rounds, one on Friday night and a Saturday morning, and then one again on Sunday and perhaps even Monday as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
So there's a question about weather cameras. I know it's a little bit off topic, but we do have forms open for 2026. Currently, we're not installing any, but if you would like to get on that wait list for installs, if you want to find out more information, feel free to check out the link in chat. I believe our moderators will probably drop it there, the form. If not, I guess Ryan could probably get that.
I'll drop it in Facebook chat.
Again, for those who are just tuning in, freezing rain not expected. It's just rain that's going to fall and stick around overnight that'll freeze on the surface after it's already fallen. So power outages not likely. The only way we'd get power outages, of course, is going to be if that wind, exceeds 50 miles per hour at times. It's going to bring down some branches. So classic late fall, early winter storm here in the state of Michigan. Technically, by our standards, it's already winter, but not for everybody. Astronomical starts on the 21st.
It's hard to believe that winter is not officially started yet. I've said on like 2 or 3 videos that I've made, and it's just
Hmm.
hard to believe. Snowfall again for season to date. I mean, we're over a foot of snow for pretty much the entire state of Michigan, unless you're in Monroe, Wayne, parts of St. Clair counties, then you guys are in that Lake Erie, Lake St. Clair snow hole, as we like to call it. But elsewhere, we're cooking this year. We will see what January brings us.
Ryan, did you want to go over that graphic that you were going to show?
Sure. So we do have a graphic up on the page, social medias. So flash freeze is possible. We'll post another one out probably tomorrow with timing, so you guys can know when to expect it to drop below freezing. But overall, we had a lot of confusion with this map, thinking the east side wasn't going to be affected by this, but this is an entire state event. Those temperatures are going to be moving as the arrows indicate eastward, and with time, it'll reach the east side. So statewide, falling temperatures from about the 40s, perhaps 50s, perhaps the high 30s somewhere, but 40s for a lot of us, into the 20s, and there's going to be some even teens out there, upper teens possible. So again, looking like a 20 to 30 degree difference here in temperatures in a matter of about 4 hours or so. Likely will be bad Friday morning, assuming roads are going to be wet. Now, a good point someone made in chat earlier was the wind. If there's any lull between the rain and the drop in temperatures, the wind could evaporate some of that moisture on the roads. That could help us out. So we're using wording that says any wet roads will freeze, because that's going to happen if roads are wet. But if there's any, either a drier solution occurs or that wind can kind of dry some of that up between the actual temperatures falling and the rain, we could look out in some areas. We'll play it by ear. But in terms of the flash freeze event, pretty much the entirety of the state is going to see rain, and the entirety of the state is going to be dropping below freezing. So there's a chance for everybody to get that flash freeze. Any
Say
outlook
something
when
about flooding.
what?
Saw something about the flooding concerns.
Not high. No, rainfall will be less than a half inch for the majority of the state.
But we do have a lot of snow melt out there. Again, the snowpack is pretty heavy, especially across northern Michigan. So we may see higher streams, but nothing like crazy flash flooding. So there's that. Go ahead, Ryan.
Ashley asking any outlook when our next snow chance is for Wayne County. I mean, technically, there's a chance to see some snow showers late Thursday into Friday morning, but it's not going to accumulate much. Beyond that, we're not seeing anything major in terms of snow events. So at this time, there are no further details for eastern Michigan for your guys' snow chances. Do y'all think we'll get more snow in January than this month? I have not dove into the long-term data in detail, so I'm going to hold my comment on that. But I will say, with the pattern we're in, would not shock me. It would not shock me at all. What is the actual snow here? It depends where you're at in the state. If you're in Grand Rapids, it could be 80 inches. If you're in Detroit, it could be 40 inches. Up in Marquette, Munising area, it could be 100 plus, 200 plus inches. So it's all relative to where you are living in the state, what your average of snowfall will be. Mayor says, how much money do I have to pay to hear a couple rumbles of thunder? It's possible. It's possible you get it for free. If you live across the south part of the state Thursday afternoon, that is your best bet. Yeah, Muskegon will range between, I want to say it's 60 and 80 inches of annual snowfall for you guys. You guys get a lot of lake effect up there, so you guys typically do see a little bit more snow. White Christmas chances, it's kind of hard to say. Again, it kind of depends where you're at in the state. Some areas have 2 feet of snow on the ground up in the UP. You guys may have a white Christmas. On the east side of the state, you guys have 4 to 8 inches on the ground. You guys are going to have a lot of rain between now and then, plus a lot of warming temperatures. So the odds it all melts, there's a good chance. But we can't say with 100% certainty just yet. But odds are trending toward not a white Christmas if you're on the east or south part of the state. Ashley, month number 20 with a membership. Check on your human barometer friends tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. That low pressure is going to be right overhead. So it's going to affect those who have migraines and joint aches, joint pains. They're going to be exaggerated with the low pressure. Yeah, school delays and closings are possible Friday morning based on what we're seeing now. We'll have a better idea, I think, when we get more confidence in the rain actually falling and how quick that air can move in before it has time to dry up. We'll have to kind of play that by ear. But Friday morning is a good chance a lot of us are going to have delays or perhaps closings. But we can't say for sure. We're not your superintendent. We can only advise you based on weather conditions that we see. No problem, Cindy. Any other questions, guys? Been live for about 36 minutes. We'll probably hop out of here momentarily. Tangi, what percentages are you talking about here? Are we talking white Christmas or temperatures? Like, what are we talking about? Either way, 9 days out, it's kind of hard to give you a percentage of anything. I do think that there is a good chance, a good percentage that you have above average temperatures in the 30s and 40s. But in terms of snowfall, white Christmas, I don't want to put a percentage on that. Yeah, white Christmas, I don't want to put a percentage on that just yet. Maybe in 2 or 3 more days, once we have an idea of how much rain we're going to get and what our temperatures are going to be like the next 9 days, we'll have a better idea with this. Christina has a question in chat here I'm going to answer. Thank you for all you do. When are you all moving into your new spot? So if you hadn't seen, we did acquire an office. I'm not going to say where details just yet, but that is coming in the future. If you didn't know, we do these streams. I think we've always done these streams from our homes. So Joel, where he's at, I'm 80 miles away from Joel. but we can connect together and we can do this from various places in the state. So that may change going in the future, though. Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Live tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Yes, Joey will be live tomorrow. Again, just an update with the system. It should be a pretty quick update. Just kind of going over new data, new ideas, new information that may come out. So if you want an update for the system, check back in tomorrow. And perhaps again, probably Thursday afternoon, based on what we're seeing with the things, we'll probably go live again, or at least give a video update, get up on the socials. All right. Anything else you want to add on to this, Joel?
I think we're all set until tomorrow.
Okay.
A lot of maps coming out, though. I'm working on them right now.
There we go. Stay tuned to the page. We have sponsors that keep us rolling here at MSC. As always, we're going to shout those out here. If you happen to need services from roofing, siding, window, gutter, security, audio, video, as well as tree care, restoration needs, we have it all. Starting with StormGuard, roofing and construction out of Detroit Metro, Katz Roofing and Siding, based out of the Potterville, Lansing area, Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding out of the Thumb region, McKay Tree Specialist in Southeast Michigan, Kuiper Tree Care over in West Michigan, On Top Roofing in Livingston County, Top Gun Roofing and Exteriors in West Michigan, A-Class Restoration and Construction out of Mason County, Guardian Technologies out of Burton, our Skycam sponsor, Rapid Radios, our communication sponsor here for our chasers back to Joel and I here in the studio, Rainbow Restoration of Kent County and surrounding areas, American Arbor, Southwest Michigan tree care needs, Clear Plow Snow Pushers for a unique way to save your back pushing snow. Clear Plow has you covered. Apex Restoration out of Grand Blanc. And lastly, the RMHC House of Detroit. And that leads me to our final closing. We have a wish list we partner with RMHC House on to provide drinks, snack items, and blankets for those who pass through the Ronald McDonald House of Detroit. So if you want to help us out with this wish list, we have a few more days we're going to run this, and then we're going to close it up and deliver all the items over to RMHC House in Detroit. So there's still time to order. These will go directly to us here at MSC, and we'll go ahead and take it over to RMHC House. We have blankets, we have snacks, we have drinks, we have assortment of what they requested us to add to this list. So feel free, if you feel the need, to hop on here in the link I just put in chat, buy some items, and help out the RMHC House in Detroit. If you want to donate directly, number is also on your screen there, 810-841-8266. That is all I have to share with you guys tonight. Joel, any last words from you?
Nope. Although I see someone saying I still need a dance at some point.
We'll do it on tomorrow's stream. Come back tomorrow at 7.
Okay.
Think about what dance you want Joel to do tomorrow for hitting 70K, and then we'll do a poll in chat. We'll have Joel do a dance.
You're going to keep me to this, aren't you?
I'm going to. In fact, we'll have Joel lead the stream tomorrow, too. So, Joel, you're in charge tomorrow.
Sweet.
All right. With that being said, guys, do you want the sunset outro or do you want the winter outro? Let me know. We'll go ahead and roll it. I already see some good comments in here, Joel, for your dance idea.
Mm-hmm. For those who have no clue what we're talking about, again, every time we hit a 5K milestone on YouTube, I made it a thing to do a little bit of a dance in celebration. It's a lot harder to do it now that we have 75,000 people watching, close to. So, but yeah, I'm still holding to my word until we get to 100K. So feel free to subscribe on YouTube. It is free to do.
I see 2 votes for winter, 3 votes for winter, and I see 1 vote for sunset. So we'll go ahead and roll the winter outro here, guys. You guys enjoy your evening. We will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch for an update as well as Joel's dance. Enjoy your evening, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Smash that like button. We'll see you tomorrow.